Hey guys, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. My name is Sbianisim. This is where we learn Kenyan Sign Language, and we shall be doing more videos on vlogs, bespoke, fun flows, African cultures, interviews, and motivational speaking. If you're there, you want to speak to us, just kindly contact me through this number 0707 199959, okay? So that I can invite you to come and speak to us. And today here I have a speaker. And before that, kindly subscribe, like this video and comment. Make good use of the comment section. Ask questions so that Pastor can go and make a review and come back and answer you through a video, okay? Yeah, karibu sana.
Wow, thank you, Sidika. Once again, I must say I'm very happy and honored to be a guest in this channel. I want to say my name is Kaduvane Geoffrey Kelero. I'm a youth pastor in President Mbale. I work under Bishop Isaac Owire. I'm also a teacher. I teach in primary school, sometimes in high school, English literature. I also teach in a theological college. I'm also a marriage counselor. In church I handle a lot of youth matters and premarital counseling. And I'm also a motivational speaker. I do speaking in both primary school, high school, college, and also among the youths in MTC. Any topic you have, when you come across, just bring it on board, and we come and we energize our people into the next level of operation.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have you watching us.
Yes, how can we get you as viewers?
You can get me as a viewer, number one, on this YouTube channel. Number two, you can get me on Elder Kaduvane Kelero Facebook.
Yes.
And then on Twitter, Elder1 Kadu. You get me there.
Yes. Yeah, so we are going into the topic of today. And today, I just realized that some weeks ago, many youth outside there are being bold enough to share their kind of relationship outside there. And as a Christian, as I've been growing up, I've known one kind of relationship that can lead to marriage. That is a boy, that is a lady and gentleman, or a man and woman that can lead into marriage. So we find that on social media there, the trending topics or trending relationships that are there, that is relationships that are with similar sex. So you find that a girl anapenda msichana, unapata mvulana huko nje anapenda mvulana wenzake. So I've been asking myself, what is this kind of relationship? And we want to speak about it with Pastor here. So welcome.
Thank you so much. I think equally, I can't say that I'm from heaven to earth, the way Jesus came to show us, the way I've been born and brought up here.
Yes.
And so what you're actually talking is true, it's happening all over. And in the common language, we call them homosexuals.
Yeah.
And homosexual is not just about men. It's from the word homo. Homo means one, or same sex. So this is an inclination whereby a lady wants to have an intimate relationship with a fellow lady. A man wants to have an intimate relationship with a fellow man. But what you're saying is true. What has been trending of late is ladies have come out boldly in the name of lesbians. They have come out. But then that begged the question, what is this lesbian all about? And so I did some small research to try and see where did it come from. Because sometimes we enter into something without knowing. So some people would ask, who is this lesbian? And I discovered that lesbian, is a Greek word. And it came from one of the Greek islands called Lesbos. Because there is a lady who used to stay there, and she was called Sappho, S-A-P-P-H-O. And as she was living there, she came up with a group of other ladies. And then as they lived in that particular island, that is how now they began this same-sex relationship, or lesbianism, now from the word lesbos. So we get the word. So in fact, previously, somebody like, if you come from Kenya, you are called a Kenyan. So somebody coming from Lesbos was called a lesbian. And so because this thing began from there, and it began a long time ago I'm told it must be the 16th century. So anybody from Lesbos was called a lesbian. And that is how now that name gained root until it found its way into the dictionary. And it's not godly, the way you have just said. It is not godly, and it is not in the pattern of God. And that is why we advocate for youths not to enter into it, or any lady not to enter into it. So basically, that is what I can describe as lesbian, or what they call homosexuals. And if it's dealing with men, you hear there, in other words, getting attracted to a person of the same sex. And then when it comes to reproducing, they still want to use other means to reproduce, yet they have refused the heterosexual relationship. That is homosexuals.
And what drives them? What drives them into that?
Okay. When God created man and woman, you will realize that that was the pattern of what we call a family. Now, years back, God created 3 angels. One of them was Michael, the other one is Gabriel, and this other one was called Lucifer. Now, Lucifer is the one commonly known as Satan. He was the one in charge of worship. He reached at a place and he exalted himself so much, seeing that he was the one who was pleasing God a lot. Then he said in himself, I think if this is what I do and God is happy, then I can also organize to be the one that I am being worshipped. And the moment that thought entered the devil, the Bible says there was war in heaven. Lucifer fought, Angel Michael fought back, but he did not have a place in heaven. He was thrown down. Why do I have to tell you that story? Because God created man. After he created man, we look at the Tower of Babel. Man became so united until they said one time they want to build something that can make them reach to where God is. And what was motivating them was so as in case some other floods come, we can go to where God is. And therefore, when God designed marriage to be heterosexual, man is now competing with God. He wants to ensure that anapiga Mungu compare. Mungu ulisema Adam and Eve. Na maningia akaimba akasema Mungu hakuumba Adam na Steve. Sasa who are you? You are already the workmanship of God. So it is actually a vacuum in man that he feels out of his own pride he wants to compete with God. And you cannot compete with God. They want to bring something that they can be proud of and say, God, you made it this way, but they are trying to prove a point to God whom akiamua anatoa breath ndani mwako hivyo. You can't believe it. So basically I want to say that is the biggest motivation to them. Nataka tuonyeshe Mungu hata sisi tuna prove point fulani. Number 2, there is influence. Kama ni teens tutasema peer pressure. Unasikia watu fulani wameingia into this relationship and sort of they are living well. And then we have the so-called developed countries. And I want to say without fear that the first homosexual couple was in America. And it was between, I think if I can remember my history very well, it was between a lady called Phyllis and another one, I don't remember the name. They just got married together. In fact, so-called married in quote, and they stayed from I think 1924 up to about 2000 and something. And so they are among the longest serving, same-sex couple. And they get a lot of funding from the kingdom of darkness because they are connected to Illuminati and Freemasons and the likes, so that they can use that as a way of frustrating God. Yet you cannot frustrate God. He is the maker. If he just decides whatever he can decide in his own sovereignty, it will happen to you that way. So that is motivation number 2. So I said number 1, they want to compete God. Number 2, there is pressure. Then number 3, others are trying to prove a point. I've had a relationship, let's say for example, you are relating with me, then we break up, and I do so many bad things to you. So you decide, I think I'm done with men, let me try the other one. So they are looking for an option, but from the wrong quarters.
Yes.
Yes. If I said in my previous interview with you that when one door opens, closes, another one opens. But sometimes we make wrong judgments.
Yeah.
And then it goes without saying that anybody, when you are angered and you make decisions out of anger, those decisions are irrational.
Yeah.
Yes. So, such like people, you made a decision out of anger. Ukasema, okay, this is what this man has done to me. What I'm going to do is let me revenge by entering into lesbianism. The other thing that really encourages such like type of relationship is a situation whereby somebody is looking to be different. And you know, this thing is trending among the young people, that I want to be different. Now I've seen how people enter into marriage, I've seen how this one's end. I want to try something different. They try something different until some you find now they are lost into, they become indifferent. So when you try something different, you become indifferent and you become a social misfit. So out of the curiosity that they say kill the cat, they say let me try this thing. And then before you realize it, you are deep into something that coming out becomes a problem. Yes. When you want to come out, you are told terms and conditions apply. We either terminate you or you continue in this thing. Then you start crying later on. That is it.
And can we say these types of relationship are being introduced in schools to students?
Yeah.
And how are they being introduced to them?
Now, you see when the enemy is out to oppose what God is doing, he uses every available means. And I want you that is listening to us, make this channel your home channel, and you're going to see a difference in your life. Number one, they target the young generation. Why? Because the young generation is a sign of posterity. And when I talk about posterity, I mean continuity. Why should I introduce lesbianism to a 60-year-old woman? That one is in her sunset years. They look at where they know there is a future. There is a future for this lesbian. Without telling, and you know, when even in Kenya, let me use just what has happened the other day. We are just from the political campaign season. And you can bear me witness that all the promises that were made during campaigns, things on the ground right now are different. When those people will come to introduce you to lesbianism, the campaign strategy will be different. When you will have entered it head over heels, and then that is when now people come. They even have songs, Mungu wangu, uko wapi? Forgetting that it's not about Mungu wangu uko wapi. In fact, God is the one asking uko wapi. Mungu hawezi kutoka. We are supposed to run away from God. And then tunamwambia Mungu umeniacha when I needed you most, you are nowhere to be seen. Hapana. You make decisions without involving him. So the young people that are a target, I want you to know, when you realize you are somebody's target, run, because that person has no best interest of yourself. You are the ones being targeted, and you are being targeted so that this thing can operate against God. And when you discover you are anti-God, then know your life is at stake. And there are several people in the Bible who tried. Nebuchadnezzar tried one time. Na watu wakamsifu wakamwambia, umezungumza tu kama Mungu. Na akasema, that is me. My friend, aliliwa, alitolewa kwa kiti chake, akaenda msituni kukula nyasi miaka 7. From a king to a wild animal, that maybe tourists would come and pay to watch, to see this new animal that is eating grass, yet it is supposed to be omnivorous and it's a human being. So when you try this thing, you want to reach at a point whereby you anger God. And when the anger of God kindles up against you, ustaki kwenda huko. So the young people, are telling them, you are the target. And you are being introduced either by somebody you respect. For example, your teacher, like there is a school we went to and I won't mention, there are staff members there that are introducing girls into that thing. And when somebody introduces you into something that you look at it even culturally, it is like a misfit. Sister, brother, hata kama anakuahidi atakusaidia upite mtihani, run away from that.
Run away.
You would rather not have that because that is not your life. But make sure that you are in good books with God. Our problem is tunaangalianga left right back and forth na tunasema Mungu mwenyewe akwambia tu muone. So huyu mwalimu naona na ananielekeza kama anaweza nifunza dhafu na nishike Sbianisim, hapana. Just know when things are going to the extreme, refuse. Mwambie, if these are the terms and conditions of you helping me maybe in my academics, then wacha nikae tu hivi. God has a plan for me. Go back to the Bible. All the questions you have, the answers are there. So mwalimu anaweza kuintroduce, lecture, and they come with goodies. But by the time you're sinking into it, because I told you it is an international thing, that means it is funded. Siku hizi hata ukienda online utapata guidelines jinsi ya kujiunga, lakini unajiunga na kitu yenye itakuletea shida. So run away from that. You are meant to be somebody's rib, somebody's soulmate, somebody that can give you comfort, so that you can be fruitful and multiply. When we enter into same-sex marriage, what are you gaining? What are you doing? Are you really being fruitful and having the ability to multiply? Obviously no. And remember, you existed because somebody of the opposite sex and another one got married. But if it was a same-sex thing, you would not be there. So ask yourself, if there is a generation to come after you, how will it come when you enter into gazing?
What do they use? What do they use to initiate you? Is there some oil or something that they use, or it's only talking?
Apart from talking, they have incentives. They can give you free cash. They tell you anytime you are in need. And then they look at the susceptible ones, you know, the ones that are vulnerable. That's what I was looking for. Anakwambia hizi mashida zako tutatatua zote. Pocket money utakuwa unapata. Then unaona these are my immediate needs. You become like Jacob and Ysim. He came from hunting and he was hungry. And he had what we call a birthright. And you know, birthright was an unseen favor on a firstborn, whereby when the father would be distributing his wealth, the firstborn would always get a lion's share. Sasa ukijana akatoka nje, ametoka kwa hunt, njaa imemseti, na kakake akamwambia there is something you have that I want. Naye akaona birthright ni nini. They did serious business. Akampatia birthright yake na akaswear, na huyu jamaa akamwandalia mundo akampatia. That is what happens with lesbianism. They come with incentives wanakupatia, but then you end up losing your birthright and your place in society. You end up becoming a social misfit. Nyumbani watakuwa wanakupatia tu maswali, unaolewa, unawaambia mimi sina haja na mwanaume. What a man can do, a woman can do. I don't need a man, I don't need this. Yet you know deep inside you that what you are into is very, very wrong. So really, incentives are there. Then promises. Ukishaingia, you know, utapita mtihani. Ukishaingia hii kampo itakuwa lazima. Ukishaingia hii trips za kwenda Dubai kujivinjari na kadhalika. We shall connect you to white gays that are going to make sure you live a flashy life. And then the Bible comes and asks, what shall it benefit you? To gain everything in gayism, lesbianism, homosexual, and lose your own soul. Obviously, nobody would like to lose his or her soul. So whatever you are doing, just stop it. Forget about the incentives, because they have a lifespan. They have an expiry date. The moment they are over, utabaki bure kabisa. Watakuintroduce hata kwa vitu za kujipaka, za kufanya nini. But the moment the supply will be cut off, because everything that has a beginning has an end. So think so much about your end rather than justifying pleasures that are momentary, you know, at the expense of the future that is bright for you.
Now, what are these side effects of being a gayism, or lesbianism? What are these side effects?
You find yourself being in gayism or lesbianism, number one, I want you to know you are a social misfit. And that is why they hide. You see, I'm married. I can't have it. Now, you end up becoming like the secret society. Because when people hear about it, it's like, and wewe uko nje unasema, I'm trying something new. And something new that is a social misfit. So number one, I want you to realize that one of the disadvantages you have is that you become a social misfit. Number two, you become a wrong role model. Very wrong one. And you know, the Bible comes in and says that woe unto them that mislead others. You know, wakati nasema majaribu hayamjii mtu ila yaliyo ya kawaida. Inafika mahali nasema na ole wake ambaye anatumiwa kuleta majaribu. So woe unto you that is being used to introduce. So ule mwalimu ambaye unanisikiza na umeintroduce wanafunzi wako kwa gazing, the Bible says ole wako. It is a polite way of telling you are cursed. And nobody will wish to operate under a curse. So now, apart from becoming a social misfit, you are already cursed. And who cursed you? By the way, it is yourself ambayo unajiruhusu kuingia kwa hiyo kitu. Na yule alikuingiza is even more cursed, because the Bible also reaches at a place and it says, woe unto you teachers, because you are going to receive harsher judgment than others. Na mwalimu is somebody who directs another one. So if I initiate you into lesbianism, I'm like a teacher to you, even if I'm not a teacher like one-on-one teaching. But I have led you into that. The Bible says, woe unto you. Another thing, another disadvantage of this thing we call lesbianism is that somewhere inside you, there will always be a vacuum. Because when God created you, He gave you the ability to reproduce, to be fruitful, and to multiply. Somewhere along the way, mutafika mahali muulizane na watoto tutatoa wapi. Then unaanza kusikia, we want to go for introvirus.
I hear some saying that on social media they ask their lesbian group to reproduce for them, now that they cannot produce.
Now they ask them, and then nowadays, because of the way technology has come, we have what we call the sperm banks. They get them like from willing donors, and then from there you are inseminated, and then the so-called the female lady who is now in the gay relationship is as the woman, she's the one who carries the pregnancy. But then remember, this seed that you are using is a product of the same God that you are opposing in the name of you want to be different. You want to be different. So a point will come in time when you want children, and then you have to go to where God is. So why go that way when you can get married to somebody and follow the path?
By the way, this thing has come to an extent that you find a normal man who is gay now pretending to marry. Now he marries a lady kujificha, alafu during his moments he goes back to the gay friend, they do their thing, and he comes back home, which affects marriage.
It affects marriage. And I've also there is also a couple. Now, of course, it's confidential. I can't mention the names na kadhalika. But a man got married to a woman, but the man was gay. So it ate up that man until it reached at a point he had to go and open up, because gayism and lesbianism will never give you a peace of mind. You will never be settled wherever you are, because it is something that is against God. Therefore, it ate him to an extent, and they just used to go even to church normally, but it's just a normal religious person. But akafika mahali approach man of God, akamwambia, I have a confession to make, and I want you to help me so that as my wife learns about it, she will not run away. So it was this man of God when alimsaidia, akamwambia, okay, that is what you want to do. Akamuingiza kwa boardroom mahali, akamwambia kaa hapa. Then akapigia the wife simu, akamwambia uko wapi? Akakuja. Akamwambia kuja, I have some news I want to tell you. It is this way and this way and this way. But more information, there is somebody seated inside that boardroom. And ameongea na yeye. Akawafungia huko ndani. So the man had to face the wife and tell him, I have lived with you as my wife, but I am gay. This way and this way. Then she forgave him because he opened na akamwambia, nataka mniombee nikombolewe, because when you are gay or you are lesbian, you are just under a demonic spirit that is operating in you. So if you are listening to me and you are suffering that thing, you can be delivered out of it and live a normal life the way God made you to live. Sasa wakati ulifanyika, that brings us to the point in nimekwambia, there will always be a vacuum inside you that needs to be filled, a hunger and thirst. The same way every human being existing on earth has a vacuum in him that desires to worship some deity. Unaona some will worship cows, there are those who will worship the true God, there are those who will worship physical features, just to fill that vacuum. So utapata you are gay and lesbian, lakini kuna vacuum ndani mwako that needs a man, that needs a woman. Very good.
So how does the church now comes in?
The church comes in. The church comes in the sense that we do capacity building, and we stand strongly. As a pastor, I can tell you that you will not come as a lesbian or a homosexual and expect to be joined on a holy altar. And any man of God outside there doing that, just know your judgment is harsh, because you are misleading God's creation, not your creation. Nobody created anybody. So if you cannot follow the pattern of God, you want to follow to please other people. And some, by the way, are even bought, because they are hired. Kuna watu huko nje, they are homosexuals or they are lesbians. So what do? Nowadays they even talk to anybody. They can even come and say, oh, so and so is not even a pastor. Lakini wanampatia hiyo mavazi, anavaa the collar. So when people watch on social media, wanasema, that is a pastor joining gay. Hapana, ukifuatilia vizuri na Google, is not even a pastor, is not even a priest. Wameenda tu wakatafuta mahali certificate, some are even fake, so that they can tarnish the image of the church. But the church, any church that is the church of Jesus Christ, they stand for heterosexual type of relationships, not homosexuals. So we do capacity building, we talk to the youths, and we thank God for the likes of now Sidika, who are coming up with such like channels. We are still encouraging you to subscribe, like, and comment, so that where we are not able to reach you through the chat, where you may not have an opportunity to ask questions, on this one you can ask questions that are objective, that are building, and we can answer you, so that you can know what to do as regarding that thorny issue that is disturbing you. So we are against it, and we are saying that our youths should not be taken that direction. They don't need to get lost, yet there is a way that they can follow.
It is satanic.
It is satanic. Demonic person. From the very bottom pit of hell. And it is being defeated because Jesus is powerful. Amen.
Thank you so much for coming in again. We welcome you again and again and again. So guys, if you have somewhere, if you want to invite Pastor Kadu, feel free to invite him. You can just call this number 0707 1999 59 and reach to him. He's good and you've seen it. Goodbye.